Have you ever thought about why you bought a video game console? I mean, sure, you bought it because you want to play video games, but what game or games in particular got you to buy it? Since YouTube is a place for sharing opinions and thoughts, I thought I'd talk about why I bought a certain video game console. Now, this isn't a why you should buy guide or video, this is a why I bought video. And today I want to talk about the PlayStation 4 because in total I have about 8 games for the PlayStation 4. So today I want to tell you about what game made me want to get it, what I discovered while playing the PS4, what I tried and then left, and what I still want to play on the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 came out in late November 2013, but I didn't pick it up actually until late September 2016 because a certain website had a deal where it was £150 for the stock PlayStation 4 with FIFA 17 brand new. I sold FIFA 17 and the PS4 was about £112. That's pretty damn good in my eyes. My history of PlayStation is that PlayStation 1 I grew up with, I flipping love that console. PlayStation 2 as well, I grew up on that shit. My god, I even had the Linux adapter to go on the internet, and even played Ratchet & Clank 3 online, I remember. The PlayStation 3 I waited a year for, but still love it. I own very few games for the PlayStation 3, but they're all very good games. And the reason I waited for the PlayStation 4 was because there weren't really any games that interested me in terms of exclusives. And none of the games I'm going to mention today are actually PlayStation 4 launch titles, at least when it comes to any of the positive sections. I don't have any add-ons for the PlayStation 4, I don't have PSVR, although I have played it. I don't have PlayStation Plus, I had it for about a month to try it out, but I didn't buy any games for the PlayStation 4 with the intent of playing online. The main reason I picked this up was because of its great single-player experiences. With that said, it's time to talk about the games, and the reason I bought the PlayStation 4 was because of one video game, just solely one. Persona 5 has been a long journey for me. After years and years of waiting and many freaking delays, I mean, I bought this in September, waiting to play it in February, but then it got delayed till April. Persona 5 is a turn-based Japanese role-playing game by Atlus, and before I continue, I want to say that Persona 4 Golden is my favourite game ever made. So yeah, I entered this with very high expectations, and weirdly enough, I have quite a few little dislikes to this game, but the reason I critique it so much is because I love it so much. Very briefly, the Persona 5 story is that you are wrongly convicted of a crime, you are sent out on probation to someone else's house in another part of Japan, and you have to go to a different school and live your life there. During that, you find out that you are a Persona user under certain circumstances, and that there is a place called the Metaverse where you can alter things in the real world. And by things, I mean people, and by people, I mean their hearts. The game is split up into two types of gameplay. There are the palaces, and there are the life sections, I guess you'd call them. In the life sections, you live your life, you make friends, you go to school, and you buy stuff. But everything has an impact in the Metaverse, which is where all these palaces take place. See, a persona is a reflection of oneself, and each of your team members in the Metaverse has a persona themselves. And the way they become stronger and become a better member of your team is that you share a closer bond with them. Since a persona is a reflection of oneself, if they really love you or care about you, they will try their best to protect you and fight for you. But see, you're a special little snowflake because you can hold more than just one persona at a time. In fact, you can hold many by the end of the game, and I just want to say I am 70 hours in, I am not done yet. But the thing is, this could go really badly, and I can still recommend it to you because it's been so fun so far, and apparently it gets better from where I am. But as well as helping you in battle, social links also provide rewards. See, everyone has a skill which you could apply to the metaverse. For example, say someone is a great strategist at, say, shogi, you can then adapt those skills into your thievery or combat. It's pretty damn cool, and this is a brand new feature for Persona, and it makes making friends and social links much more fun and much more rewarding than it ever has been. Like I said, the combat is turn-based, but there are multiple ways to attack. You have a gun, you can use a weapon, or you could use your persona. Now, personas hold magical powers which you can use to your advantage. They have elements such as fire, lightning, ice, but there are also quite interesting ones such as light damage, curse damage, which can insta-kill. It's pretty scary. And also psychological and nuclear damage. The game is a very rock, paper, scissors kind of thing. See, certain personas and you yourself are weak to certain elements, but strong against others. You can repel others, and some you can just nullify. For example, there is a certain persona that I have which is very strong against ice, but is very weak against fire. So you have to be very strategic in which personas you use, and each of your teammates also have those kind of weaknesses and strengths. So why did I buy a PlayStation 4 just for this game? As I said before, I am a very big fan of Persona 4 Golden. In fact, like I said, it's my favourite game ever made, at least so far. But the reason I kept it, and the reason it is probably better than Persona 4 Golden in many ways, is that this game just oozes style. Everything has fluidity to it. Even the menus have style. For example, your main character just is there, but he interacts with every menu item. So say you clicked a certain option, he would then spin around, then point a gun, which then is the transition. Or for example, he would kick it, and then that would be the transition. It's a weird tiny detail, I know, but it's these tiny details which make a game so much better. On top of that, the story is very different from any Persona game I've ever played, and I've played nearly every single one of them. This game looks beautiful and runs great on the PlayStation 4 at 1080p 30 frames per second. You know, I would have preferred 60 since it's not a very demanding game, but at least it's rock solid and fluid. And my final point, the real world activities is so much more fun now. See, with Persona 4 Golden, there wasn't really much to do in the day apart from build stats. But now there are many more ways to do that, plus there are many more side objectives thanks to the Mementos. Mementos is basically a way to do side quests, but many of the side quests involve doing real life activities to then alter Mementos, which makes it easier. For example, right now I am doing a quest which involves a guy who is cheating at games in real life. So when you go and fight the dude, he blocks every single attack you throw at him, no matter what it is. So I went to an arcade and convinced a very, very good player of the video game he's cheating on to teach me how I could beat this guy. In doing so, I also gained a social link. So it was rewarding to do this side mission on multiple levels, and that's what this game really nails. It's just satisfying. So that was the game that got me to buy a PlayStation 4, but what about the games that made me want to keep it? And one in particular is now going to be in my top 10 games probably. So, let's get into what I discovered on the PlayStation 4. Let's start with two that I have previous experiences with. Let's start with Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 is the apparent final outing for Nathan Drake, and the main thing I can say about this game is it's stunning. This game looks bloody beautiful. I mean, Naughty Dog have just gone so far since Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation and the games that preceded that. That's not to say it's no slouch in the game department though. I mean, this game is smooth as it ever has been, and the climbing is much more refined, the gunplay especially is more refined. And it's just smooth, man. It's just silky smooth. The story ain't much to talk about, to be honest. It's very, very good, do not get me wrong, but it's not really a selling point, in my opinion, unless you are very deep into the character of Nathan Drake in his past. And I'll admit, I am. I have played every Uncharted up to now, even the Vita one, which I really recommend, by the way. The Vita one is surprisingly good. The multiplayer ain't bad. I mean, I don't really feel personally that the Uncharted controls and gameplay really adapt well into a multiplayer scenario. Is it bad? Hell no, but it's not my personal cup of tea when it comes to multiplayer shooters. It does work in co-op though, since you're then fighting AI, and me and my friend Panda Reviews have done most of the co-op in one sitting. It was fun, do not get me wrong, but it's not a co-op I will keep going back to like I did in Uncharted 3. If you haven't played Uncharted 4 though, but want to get up to speed before playing it, there is the Uncharted collection on the PlayStation 4 with 1 to 3, and it's worth it. I have not played it because I had no reason to, but I have a friend of mine who's currently playing it, and he says it's fantastic because, well, it's the original games. But the thing is, if you go from 4 to 1, 2 and 3, you'll be kind of annoyed because 1's combat system is pretty bad. So's 2 in a way, but 3 pretty much gets it spot on, 4 just improves on that. Next is The Last of Us Remastered. Now, I actually waited until I got a PlayStation 4 to play The Last of Us at all, because I was gonna get The Last of Us the week it was announced, the remaster that is, and I was like, yo, I'm going to wait. I'm gonna wait until I get a PS4, no matter how long it takes, I'm gonna wait. And was it worth the wait? Yeah, it was really good. Now, is it the best game ever made? No. No way in hell. But is it groundbreaking in quite a few ways? Yeah. I mean, this game got so many non-gamers into gaming, and I can see why. The story is very good. It's not top-notch in my opinion, but then again, I'm a weird person who likes Naruto, so maybe my point's invalid. Basically, this is a post-apocalyptic kind of setting. It's not zombies, but it's kind of like zombies, so if you're trying to tell a friend what it's about, say it's just kind of like zombies. That's not a negative though, the clickers are pretty damn scary. Even the base clickers are a challenge. At least at the level I played at, because I played it on hard the first time, because I thought playing it on a harder setting would be a good idea considering the setting of this game, and this game is pretty damn bleak. So you play as Joel, a dude who lost his daughter on the first day of the start of the apocalypse. Time passes quite a few years, and he's one gruff, strong motherfucker who has been tasked with a job to look after a girl called Ellie, who is apparently immune to the virus that caused all this shit. One of the redeeming qualities of this game is Joel and Ellie's connection and story. I'm personally not a big fan of the ending, but the journey to that ending was bloody fantastic, and I recommend, even if you don't want to buy this game, find a way of watching it, either that be a let's play or a friend of yours who's playing it, because this story is definitely one to be experienced. Like Uncharted 4, this game looks bloody amazing with motion capture cutscenes just like Uncharted 4. By the way, this is made by the same developer, Naughty Dog, and I am very glad that I picked this game up. One thing I must say though is that the multiplayer in my opinion was pretty damn shit. Then again, I got into it very late in the party because everyone who was in the lobbies I was in, that I played for about 2 hours, was either majorly high level or base level like me. It has interesting ideas, I guess, but again, I don't really feel like this combat system is very good for a multiplayer setting. Again, that's my opinion. Mainly the melee combat kind of ruins it in my opinion, but eh. Now, Yakuza Zero. Fuck me man, this game caught me by surprise. I knew nothing about the Yakuza series and barely have heard of it before this. And my god, this game is so fun. In Yakuza 7 you play one of two protagonists. Kiryu, who is a Yakuza member of the Dojima family, or Majima, who runs a club. Without going into too much detail, Kiryu is framed for a killing that he did in a place called the Empty Lot. But see, the Empty Lot is actually one of the hottest commodities in Japan. It may be a weird tiny space, but whoever owns that tiny bit of space will have quite a bit of power in Japan. Because of this, he has to leave the family he's in, and he has to find the killer. But see, it ain't as simple as that. It takes so many detours, and it's fucking phenomenal. Majima, on the other hand, is the owner of a club called The Grand, who is trying to pay his dues to get back into the Yakuza. He is asked to take a hit out on someone, and again, it spirals from there. It takes a lot of detours, but this game is fantastic. The story is surprisingly great. Now, if I had to say one bad thing, I'd say that Kiryu is quite a bland protagonist. He's not very bland, but I can definitely see why some people would call him bland. Majima, on the other hand, has tons of character. Kiryu does too, but on the offset, he may seem bland to many people, including me to start with. If I had to sum this game up in one word though, I would say awesome. And the main reason for that is the combat system. Now, you will fight many people in this game, even if you don't want to. But to be honest, if you don't want to do that, then I don't know why you want to buy this game, because it's quite a big part of the game in my opinion, the combat, whatever. At a point, it even gets to play Dynasty Warrior levels of how many people you're fighting. Is that a bad thing though? Fuck no, it's just so cool, man. On top of that though, there are also the boss fights, which are actually quite a big standout for me. Without going into spoilers, there is one boss fight that stands out in my mind. You're on the run from a lot of Yakuza, and you get sent to a sewer by someone who is pretending to help you. you see a headlight in the distance, and it's a dude on a fucking motorbike running at you, well, driving, with a fucking pipe. He bashes you with the pipe, you block, well, as best you can, and then the fight ensues. If you're not a fan of Japanese games, this will turn you off, I think. It won't get you into Japanese games. On top of that, it's only Japanese voices with English subtitles, so if you don't like reading as well, sorry. A downside I must mention is the graphics. Now, it's weird, their faces look freaking amazing, like you can see their bloody paws and shit, but there are also some details which I've noticed which aren't too great, like, for example, the rest of their body from, say, the chest down. They have some weird looking hands, I must say. The story is great, the combat is fantastic, but there's one other thing which makes this game pretty damn unique, and almost reminds me of Shenmue, of all games. See, there are many side activities you can do in this game. Like, sure, there is bowling, darts, pool, and those kind of things. On top of that, though, there are many other ones, such as real estate ownership, owning a fucking cabaret club, and then there are some very Japanese ones, such as karaoke, disco dancing, underground catfighting, which I'm not a personal fan of because the combat system in it is pretty shit, and even doling up the girls in the cabaret club so that you attract more customers. Also, there are collectible cards, they're fine, but there's also cards of cute girls which you can then take to an erotic cafe and do your business with. There's even a trophy for going to a erotic cafe, and it's just called I Did It for the Trophy, which is pretty funny by the English adaptation team, I must say. After everything I've said, this is probably my top 10 favourite games. I fucking love this game, man. It is so fun, and I cannot wait to see how it ends. And I must say, I'm now a lifelong fan of Yakuza, because Yakuza 1 is being remade, and Yakuza 6 is coming soon. So let's say I have a lot of games to catch up on, and I'm very, very looking forward to it. Now, there are games that I've tried which other people would say are reasons to buy the console, but I personally did not connect with them. To start with, there's Bloodborne. Now, I have played every game in the Souls series, including Demon Souls, and I can fully say now that I am not a fan. The combat system isn't for me. I don't want to say it's because it's too hard, because I enjoy games with a good challenge. But fans of Bloodborne and Souls, I simply just did not find it fun. And I don't want to go too deep into it because it seems that this community gets very triggered if you shit talk their game, and I don't really have many reasons why I don't like it, but I just personally did not connect with it in any way, and I sold it off pretty damn fast after about 8 hours of playing it. The other game which many people have told me to play was Infamous Second Son, which was actually a launch title. The combat is fine, and the story is kind of bland, but, you know, these kind of games don't really need a great story. The main reason I stopped playing this game was the morality system. Now, the morality system goes up and down more than a fucking seesaw. I felt like it wasn't very rewarding to do good or bad because the rewards themselves weren't that interesting. And it felt very annoying to have it go up and down so much and be so much in your face about it. I mean, if you did something good or bad, this game would tell you. Don't worry, this game will fucking tell you. Many of you might think that's fine, but I am a very big hater of forced morality in games, in that you're good or you're evil and there's no other way around it. I mean, the game can do that if they want, but don't shove it in my fucking face and make it a critical game element. Give me choices, sure, and show me the impact of it, but don't make it a critical part of the game. When it's built around morality, that personally turns me off. I kinda have to finish this game though, in my opinion, because I bought the First Light expansion, and, you know, I can't get a refund for it, so I'm kinda fucked. So I might as well, you know, make the best of what situation I'm in. It's not like it's a bad situation in any way, really. It's just, you know, don't really want to play the game too much. Could be worse. Before we get to closing thoughts, let's end this on some positives. Let's talk about games that I want to play. First is Gravity Rush 2. Now, I love Gravity Rush 1. I have it on the Vita. And I really enjoyed Gravity Rush 2 at EGX 2016, and, you know, it just makes sense to play the sequel, really, because it made a lot of improvements, I found, and it was much more fun. Next, we have Until Dawn, and fun fact, this was going to be a PlayStation Move exclusive game for the PlayStation 3. And well, you know. Now, this is a game with choices and morality, but the thing is, there are tons of endings, and there are tons of possible outcomes. So, at least this isn't very black and white like Infamous Second Son was. It's not, you're evil, or you're good. It's, you made a choice, and that will impact the rest of the story. It might be good, it might be a bad choice, but you know what? It's your choice. It was your decision. It wasn't a good decision or a bad decision, it was your decision. Plus, it is very inspired by classic horror and slasher films, so you got me interested. At the time of recording, this is currently the free PlayStation Plus game, so I might get PlayStation Plus just for a month, just to play this game. The PlayStation 4 has a pretty damn cool design, but it lacks in many ways in terms of media. Many people shit on the Xbox One for being a media console more than a gaming console, but personally, I feel it's the best of both worlds when it comes to the Xbox One. And Sony, it can play fucking audio CDs. What is this shit, Sony? Really? I mean, you had to put a fucking update to play MP3 files. What? Plus, a point I really want to make is that when you go into the submenu on the OS and go and cancel a game or turn the game off, it says close application. I mean, I'm surprised no one ever talked about this. In a weird way, Sony don't treat their games like games. I know it's just, a word, but it's really weird that they call their games applications more than just games. Weird. So, that's why I bought a PlayStation 4 and my experiences with it. Like I said, this wasn't really a guide to buying a PlayStation 4 or what you should get if you bought one. It's just my opinion of it and why I bought it and why I've kept it. This may become a series, I don't know, because I could also talk about then consoles that I didn't get, for example, such as the Wii U. But I really want to talk about the PlayStation 4 because I only bought this for one game, but then of course I kept it for two. And I thought it was interesting to talk about since many people keep a console for many games, and it's weird that I've kept it for two. But I must say that being an anime fan and a fan of Japanese culture and shit, this console was a very good one to choose over the Xbox One because there are many more Japanese games that have been brought over to the PlayStation 4 thanks to great English teams who have, converted them and translated them. Hell, Persona 5 came out in September of 2016 in Japan, and we had to wait nearly half a year. Even more so, Yakuza Zero came out in 2015 on the PS3 and PS4, and we had to wait 2 odd years to get a PS4 version. And the PS3 version never even hit fucking Western soil. In my eyes, PlayStation 4 isn't really a social console. Now yes, you can link your account to Facebook, but Party was an oversight in my opinion. It wasn't very well implemented, and I'm not a big fan of PlayStation Plus. Now I do pay for Xbox Live, but I am much more social on that console and play many more online games than this console or any PlayStation console in fact. So finally, why do I own a PlayStation 4? The single player experiences mainly, and also the fact that there are many games coming from Japan that I will never ever get to play on the Xbox or PC. So, I hope you found that entertaining, and thank you very, very much for watching.